This podcast is intended to compare and contrast two models of a safe and supportive classroom community. The first model I have chosen is known as Brown and Campion's FCL Classrooms, which stands for Fostering a Community of Learners. The next model is about my own experience and personal model of education. I attended a school based on the Gold Coast called King's Christian College. I have evaluated and analysed these models and will present my conclusions to you today. Using the templates provided in class, I was able to compare and contrast specific areas of each of the models. A Christian and Indigenous perspective will also be highlighted throughout this presentation. Between the FCL model and my own personal model of education, the goals of the community are ultimately the same, with a few differences. Both schooling methods place the students at the centre and aims to provide a holistic and integrated education that allows all students to succeed. FCL plans to achieve these goals by focusing on the students' individual interests and talents as well as learning in groups. Furthermore, FCL promotes success by revisiting subject areas and does not move ahead until all students understand the content. This is different to King's, where the goals are achieved through individual learning and they are required to follow a strict syllabus that has a time limit on how long the content should be taught for. This allows no time to revisit learning areas, and this then falls under the student's responsibility to study what they don't know. Another goal that King sets is that the students take responsibility for their learning, not just the teacher. Therefore, this is why individual learning and study time are advocated. When attending King's, there were many different types of learning activities and strategies used in the classroom. Individual work such as reading, researching, completing worksheets were mostly promoted in the class. This would often end in a teacher-facilitated question and answer discussion. Even though individual work was placed at the centre of attention, we occasionally participated in group work because it encouraged peer collaboration, learning and teaching. FCL Classrooms mostly focuses on research-based tasks such as jigsaw, crosstalk, research writing, design tasks and other collaborative activities. This model relies on repetitive learning activities and structures so that every student understands the tasks. Similar to King's, these research activities start with the students' individual work, allowing them to have time to think for themselves. The role of the teacher in the setting of my own personal model of education was that the teachers were role models and their goal is to help young people succeed. The teachers created a positive relationship with students to help create a safe and supported learning environment. The teachers would work with the parents to ensure student success and learning. Furthermore, teachers were professional and held authority over students, allowing the students to respect and provide their attention towards the teacher. In the same way, the role of the teacher in the FCL model encourages and aims to create tasks that will help students succeed. The teachers are also shown respect by the students and are viewed as an authoritative figure. The teacher orchestrates students' work and supports students when they need help. Throughout my personal model of education, students learn to respect each other's differences, which makes all students feel that they belong in the classroom. The teacher encourages students to ask questions and share their ideas and opinions in a set time after the content is taught. Students then feel that they are a valuable member of the classroom and can contribute when they feel is necessary. This is similar to the FCL model, where they respect each other in the classroom and utilizes group activities to allow all students to participate and share their thoughts. This ensures no one is excluded. Both the learning communities approach and many classrooms use resources outside of the classroom. King's provided resources such as textbooks to assist with research and classwork. However, as the years progressed, they transitioned into giving students a laptop. Academic programs, weekly co-curricular activities, music programs, and inter-school sports were also resources provided by the school to boost the learning community and student success. King's provides many resources for students because they take pride in the success of their students and school. FCL is mostly research-based, so like King's, textbooks and devices should be provided to all students. A distinction between King's and FCL is that both members themselves and the collective knowledge and skills of the community are also viewed as important resources. This course is shown throughout the FCL learning model because the teacher begins the lesson, but the students are able to take control when they are split into group research activities. Students give each other feedback and exchange ideas when working in groups. This is different to King's, where the teacher controls the learning through writing on the whiteboard and that the students take notes. Furthermore, the teacher controls and facilitates class discussions, whereas in FCL the teacher is a guide. Both models promote student learning and communication through question and answer time between the student and the teacher and gives time for peer teaching and learning. Knowledge is shown through subject matter and the topics that are learnt in class. As mentioned before, King's follows a strict syllabus where the topics are not chosen at random. Like most schools, King's follows the Australian curriculum when teaching their content and has a time limit on how long the topic should be taught for. This is so that students are used to the high demands of university and work life and can cover as much topics as possible. Textbooks and devices also aid students in their studies. The goal is for students to learn the same thing. The FCL approach is accurate and does not focus on speed. Instead of moving through several topics, the teacher will move on, or they will revisit the subject another time until everybody has a clear understanding. FCL still follows the classroom and it uses the integrative learning strategy for students to gain knowledge. King's places a heavy emphasis on the end products such as assessment and moving forwards to start a career. The school expects students to achieve high grades and for students to perform to the best of their ability. Assessments are designed to test your knowledge on subject areas and it determines whether you pass or fail the subject. They believe that if you achieve high grades, students will most likely be accepted into universities, ultimately ending in a professional career. Learning goals are also stated and written on the board for students to write down each lesson so they can refer back to them when they are studying for assessments. FCL is different because it focuses on meaningful learning rather than a strong emphasis on performance in assessments. The assessments are more of a joint effort from the whole class rather than the individual. Members of the class work together to achieve high results, which builds the classroom community and encourages cooperation between the students. King's is a Christian school that aims to honor and glorify God through academics and relationships within the school. The school held weekly chapels to instill Christian values in students so that students will be able to live it out in their everyday lives. Like King's, FCL is relationship based as the students are constantly encouraged to work together and accept everyone's contributions. Both models encourage a community that is kind and accepting. Hebrews 10:24-25 says, "And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together as it is the habit of some, but encourages one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near." The FCL model accommodated Indigenous learners effectively because it is based on community and collaborative work. King's was not as effective because it mainly focused on individual work. After comparing and contrasting both models of learning, it is evident that there are many similarities and differences between the two. However, both places the students at the center of learning and encourages motivation, curiosity, and inspiration.